Well, hey everybody. We are again back talking about the things that are stressing parents out at the end of the school year. And actually the thing that that I'm going to talk about today is something that tends to stress parents out all year round. So hopefully this will be helpful for you, not just right now. Some of you are feeling it right now, but also year round. We're going to talk today about the trap of overcompensation. So before we get there, let me just remind you that if you would like to have regular encouragement in your inbox for your homeschool journey, please go to goodschooling.net, scroll to the bottom, and put your email address in so that I can send you some encouragement that is going to help you on your homeschooling adventure. So as homeschool parents, there are times when we get this sense that we have stolen something from our children, or we have prevented them from having certain experiences. And in some cases, it's kind of true. Like my children will never, well, I shouldn't say never. If they go to college, maybe they will, but they'll never probably know what it's like to, walk up and down halls and go to your locker and, have lunch in the cafeteria and go to a Friday football rally. And okay, so yes, there are some things that our kids aren't necessarily going to have the opportunity to experience. And sometimes we let that start turning into guilt. We kind of lose track of all of the fantastic and really awesome experiences that our kids are getting instead. And we start thinking about, oh gosh, but they're not getting to do this and they're not getting to do that. And so what ends up happening is we start to overcompensate for all the things that they don't get to do. And that very quickly turns into a calendar that is so full, that has no margin whatsoever, that is so crammed that you hardly have time to actually do school because your kids are out at so many different things because you're so worried about all of the things that you are preventing them from experiencing. And as we come to the end of the school year, a lot of times this starts looking like, oh my gosh, I'm going to enroll my kid in every camp that I can find and every group that we can identify that's getting together to do, park days or pool days or field trip days. We're all going to go to the zoo. We're going to go to the museum with all these people. And all of a sudden, this season that is supposed to be a season of rest, a season of rejuvenation, a season of, particularly for the parents, kind of looking back over the year and figuring out, okay, what do I want to do better next year? How can I kind of level up myself as a homeschool parent? And giving our kids that opportunity to have those days of boredom. What ends up happening is we get to the end of the summer and we're exhausted. We have spent so much time doing stuff to make up for all the stuff that our kids didn't get to do during the school year, that when we get to the school year again, we're like, oh my gosh, we have to do this again? Like, I feel like I hardly even got a break. And our kids can even feel that way too. They need downtime as well. So over the summer, as we get to the end of school and you're looking out at your summer calendar, I want you to make sure that you all have margin. Do not sign your child up for every imaginable thing. And I know that even when you have extroverts, that can be particularly difficult, right? But remember that getting together just with random people, it does not have to be, these big scheduled things. It doesn't have to be camps. It doesn't have to be, formally organized things. It can just be having a friend over, having, maybe somebody that they don't get to see very much during the school year. Maybe they're still in public school. And so that friend doesn't have a lot of time to get together. Now it's an opportunity. Maybe they can come spend a whole weekend, or they could come spend, 2 or 3 days, and your kids can pack in all of the fun that they haven't been able to have over the school year or whatever, right? But we have to remember too, that boredom is the mother of creativity. And our kids benefit from having downtime and alone time, even the extroverts, okay? It is important for extroverts to be comfortable being alone, being quiet. Doesn't mean they have to do it a lot, right? But that is a life skill that our kids need to learn. And if we allow their schedule to get so filled that they have hardly any downtime, even though they love that as an extrovert and they're eating up like all of this time with people, that's not actually healthy for them. They do need to learn, just like introverts need to learn how to do the people thing, how to do the big crowds thing, how to do the small talk thing. Extroverts need to learn how to be quiet, how to be alone, how to have a day that does not include getting together with a whole bunch of people. And all kids need downtime that is not scheduled, that lets them get bored. Boredom is not bad. I've posted lots of times on the Good Schooling page about why it's important that we let our kids be bored, because they need the opportunity to think independently, to think creatively, to get out there and just, do the kind of stuff that we used to do when we were kids, right? We didn't have all of the technology stuff that kids have now. We didn't necessarily have, all of the camps and all of the things, or if we did, our parents, maybe your parents, just like my parents, said, dude, you can pick one thing. We don't have the money to enroll you in 8 million things. You can pick one camp this summer. Quite often, the only camp I went to was church camp, and that was because I was able to earn my way through a fundraiser that we did at church. Like, we didn't have money when I was a kid to be enrolled in all this stuff. And so my summers were spent dreaming up random things to do with the kids in the neighborhood. And if you look around your neighborhood and you go, yeah, but a lot of these kids aren't, they're not exactly the same as my kid. They don't have all the same things in common. That's a life skill too, right? When we go out into the world, don't we need to know how to collaborate and connect with people who aren't just like us? Remember that socialization, true socialization, is not about being with people who are just like us. It's just the opposite. And so maybe talking to your neighbors and saying, hey, are your kids as bored as my kids? Why don't we get them all together for a pool day? Why don't we get them all? I'm going to put the sprinkler out front. Why don't you, send all your kids over in their swimsuits? When I grew up in my neighborhood, there was not a single kid in that neighborhood that was the same age as me. But those are all friends that I still have, that I still talk to on social media, because those were the kids I grew up with. And oftentimes nowadays, we schedule our kids in so much stuff, they hardly even know the kids in their own neighborhood. So instead of looking for all of these ways that we can cram our child's schedule full of stuff to make up for this fear that we have that we're depriving them of things, we need to remember what is actually healthy for them. Boundaries in time, margin, white space in your calendar is important for them. Being able to have a breather, being able to be bored, those are important things for them. So as you look forward to your summer, take time, let your kids take time, and don't fall into the trap of overcompensation. All right, I will talk to you guys again later. I hope you have a great night. See you later. Bye.